Okay, so here we are. Step number 2, design and storyboarding. So in this step, you already basically have ideas and possibly the inspiration you need for your design. Here's how you should proceed. Step 1 of this step, you need to start with sketching. I mean, we always kind of begin with a sketch. Every design process begins with a sketch, and motion design really isn't any different. So pick up a paper, get a whiteboard, or bring out your drawing app, because this will help you kind of think about how to, sketch these small little interactions much more easier, and it'll allow you to easily kind of go through some ideas that just don't make it, and also refine some of your better ideas. Now, the second part is you want to storyboard. Creating a storyboard of the key states of your motion design. Use simple annotations to help visualize the flow, and this is a really effective way to communicate your ideas with others early on in the process. As we see here, this is kind of just like a small example of what a storyboard looks like. It's just kind of like the same type of thing directors use or film producers use when they're thinking about film. What happens in this stage? What happens in this stage? And you can use it for applications as well in websites. Basically you have the 3 parts. You have the full story. This is maybe like a notification or getting a notification for a messaging app. You have the visual, which would be like your different stages of your interaction. So it could be your sketches. It could be even digitized a bit. And then you have your captions explaining what's happening in each moment. So this will really help not only yourself, document your work, but it'll also help everyone else around you kind of get it in your head a bit to understand what you're trying to, convey with this type of motion design. I stress this in all my other courses, sharing your work early, sharing it with your team as much as possible is such a good practice to kind of get used to. Sketches and storyboards are great tools for getting some early feedback from your team. And don't be shy about sharing your sketches and storyboards. They are great tools for getting your team to understand what you plan to create and gathering collaborative insights. And then finally, decide. So this is kind of where you come to the end of it. Based on the comments and insights of your team, you need to decide what motion design elements will be prototyped and user tested. So you're really going to think about what you're going to move forward with. And by the end of this entire step of design and storyboarding, if everything goes to plan, by the end of this step, you should have an acceptable sketch of what your motion element will look like. So this is kind of the goal of this step. You want to get to the point where you're very confident as to how this motion element is going to play out in terms of like a narrative using that storyboard. But you also want all that research that you've done prior to really back the reasoning as to why you got to this point. So remember, step 1, discovery and research, understand who your users are, align those needs to the benefits. Then sketch a storyboard, talk with your team, and then decide on how you want to move forward.